Hello everybody. Welcome back to ABC General Hospital Spoilers channel. Today, we will dive deep into the explosive drama surrounding Jocelyn Jack's covert mission with the WSB to dismantle Sonny Corinthos' criminal empire. A secret so dangerous it threatens to fracture her bond with her mother, Carly Spencer, and send shockwaves through the heart of Port Charles. This isn't just another family spat. It's a saga of betrayal, hidden agendas, and heart-wrenching decisions that could alter the very fabric of the Corinthos clan forever. Buckle up as we unravel the intricate layers of Jocelyn's double life, the devastating secrets tied to her mission, and the catastrophic fallout that looms on the horizon for Carly and the entire town. A daughter's dangerous double life. In the bustling underbelly of Port Charles, where loyalty is currency and secrets are deadly, Jocelyn Jacks has embarked on a path that could destroy everything her family holds dear. The young woman, raised by Carly to value family above all else, is now playing a perilous game as an undercover agent for the World Security Bureau WSB. Her mission? To infiltrate and obliterate Sonny Corinthos' sprawling criminal network from the inside. This isn't a mere act of rebellion or a fleeting teenage tantrum. It's a calculated and ruthless endeavor that could unravel the very foundation of her family. Jocelyn's steely determination was confided to her handler, Vaughn, a seasoned operative who has become her guide in this shadowy world. She revealed her singular focus with chilling clarity: to end Sonny's reign once and for all, even if it means sacrificing her closest relationships. The stakes couldn't be higher, as this secret threatens not only her safety but the trust that binds her to her mother, Carly, who remains blissfully unaware of her daughter's dark allegiance. The catalyst of tragedy and resolve. Jocelyn's decision to join forces with the WSB wasn't born out of whimsy or a sudden thirst for power. It was forged in the fires of trauma and loss that have plagued the Corinthos family for years. The near-fatal fire at Charlie's Pub, which nearly claimed the life of Christina Corinthos Davis, was the final straw that pushed Jocelyn over the edge. She could no longer stand idly by as mob violence continued to endanger those she loves. Memories of other horrors haunt her every step. The penthouse explosion that almost killed her brother Michael Corinthos, leaving him scarred both physically and emotionally. And the gut-wrenching death of Morgan Corinthos, a wound that still festers in the family's collective heart. Then there was the lesser-known, but equally devastating incident at the old Corinthos warehouse, where a botched deal led to an ambush that Jocelyn narrowly escaped, her screams echoing in her nightmares ever since. Each tragedy has compounded her resolve, whispering in her that enough is enough. Determined to be the one to break this cycle of violence, Jocelyn has embraced her role with a ferocity that borders on obsession. Armed with the full backing of the WSB, she wields resources and training far beyond what Michael could muster in his own failed attempt to take down Sonny with Dex Haller's help. Jocelyn isn't just a concerned sibling, she's a weapon honed by tragedy, ready to strike at the heart of her stepfather's empire. A web of deception with Jack Brennan. The layers of betrayal in this unfolding drama grow even more tangled when we consider Carly's romantic entanglement with Jack Brennan, a man whose charm hides a labyrinth of dangerous secrets. Carly, swept off her feet by Brennan's suave demeanor and promises of a brighter future, has no inkling that he's the very architect of Jocelyn's descent into the WSB's covert operations. Behind closed doors, while Carly dreams of candlelit dinners and whispered sweet nothings, Brennan has been meticulously grooming Jocelyn for high-stakes undercover work, exposing her to risks that could cost her life. But the deception runs deeper still. Unbeknownst to Carly, Brennan played a pivotal role in covering up a shocking incident: Jocelyn's killing of the notorious Cyrus Renault in a desperate act of self-defense during a botched operation near the docks. The cover-up, orchestrated with chilling precision, involved falsified reports and buried evidence, ensuring that no trace of Jocelyn's involvement would surface until now. Brennan's dual role as Carly's lover and Jocelyn's enabler places him at the center of a storm that's about to erupt. Every tender moment shared with Carly is tainted by the weight of these hidden truths. And one can't help but wonder how long this fragile house of cards can stand before it collapses under the burden of its lies. Carly's impending meltdown. When the truth about Jocelyn's secret mission and Brennan's duplicity finally comes to light, Carly Spencer will be thrust into an emotional maelstrom unlike anything she's ever faced. Picture this: the woman who has fought tooth and nail to protect her children, who has weathered countless storms for the sake of family, discovering that her own daughter and the man she loves have been conspiring behind her back. The betrayal will strike like a lightning bolt, igniting a fury that could rival the fiercest tempests Port Charles has ever seen. Carly's rage will be a force of nature, her protective instincts as a mother clashing violently with the heartbreak of being deceived by those closest to her. She'll look back on every shared laugh with Brennan, every trusting moment, and feel the sting of betrayal as if it were a physical blow. One can almost see her storming into Bobby's, the diner where their romance blossomed over casual coffee dates, and unleashing a tirade that could shatter glass. Brennan had better have an escape plan, perhaps a private jet on standby at the Port Charles airport, because Carly's wrath, once unleashed, will spare no one. This isn't just about anger, it's about the profound grief of seeing her family's unity, something she's fought so hard to preserve, torn apart by the very people she trusted most. Echoes of past betrayals. The parallels between Jocelyn's current mission and past family betrayals are impossible to ignore, casting a dark shadow over the Corinthos legacy. Years ago, Michael, driven by a similar desire to protect his loved ones, recruited Dex Heller to infiltrate Sonny's organization, hoping to gather evidence for a federal takedown. That plan crumbled spectacularly, leaving behind a trail of broken trust and strained relationships that took years to repair. Jocelyn, who witnessed firsthand the pain and division caused by Michael's scheme, now finds herself walking a early similar path, yet with far more dangerous tools at her disposal. And like Michael, who operated as a civilian fueled by emotion, Jocelyn is a trained WSB operative, equipped with tactical expertise, government clearance, and a handler who pushes her to take greater risks. Her access to encrypted communications, surveillance tech, and international networks makes her a far more formidable threat to Sonny's empire than Dex ever was. What cuts deepest, however, is the personal toll of her actions. Jocelyn knows the scars left by Michael's choicest late-night arguments, the icy silences at family dinners, the way Carly's eyes dimmed with every new fracture in their unity. Yet, here she is, repeating history with a colder, more clinical approach, fully aware that she's not just targeting Sonny but dismantling the very family she claims to protect. Sonny's empire under siege from within. At the heart of this storm stands Sonny Corinthos, a man who has weathered countless external threats, rival mob families, federal investigations, even assassination attempts in the shadowy corners of Port Charles waterfront. But nothing could prepare him for the ultimate betrayal, the realization that his own children are turning against him. Sonny has always justified his criminal empire as a means to protect his family, to build a fortress of power around those he loves most. Yet, with each passing year, his way of life has driven wedges between him and his kin, alienating the very people he swore to shield. Jocelyn's mission isn't just a professional operation, it's a deeply personal rebellion against everything Sonny represents. The irony is heartbreaking. The more Sonny fights to hold his empire together, the more he loses the loyalty of his blood. Will he be able to withstand this internal assault, or will the betrayal of his stepdaughter be the final blow that brings his world crashing down? Rumors swirl through Port Charles that Sonny has already begun to suspect cracks in his inner circle, hiring private investigators to tail his closest allies. If he uncovers Jocelyn's true allegiance, the confrontation could be nothing short of apocalyptic, shaking the town to its core. The ripple effects on Port Charles. As Jocelyn's secret mission unfolds, the reverberations will extend far beyond the Corinthos family, threatening to destabilize the delicate balance of power in Port Charles. Local businesses, long under the shadow of Sonny's influence, might face upheaval as his empire weakens. Imagine the chaos at the docks if shipments are intercepted due to WSB intel. Allies like Jason Morgan, who has stood by Sonny through thick and thin, may find their loyalties tested as they're caught between friendship and the moral dilemmas posed by Jocelyn's crusade. Even neutral players, like the staff at General Hospital, could be dragged into the conflict if violence spills over into public spaces, as it so often does in this volatile town. The community rumor mill is already buzzing with whispers of tension in the Corinthos household. Some say they've seen Jocelyn meeting mysterious figures late at night near the pier, while others speculate about Carly's increasingly erratic behavior as stress takes its toll. One thing is certain, when the truth explodes, no corner of Port Charles will be untouched by the fallout. Jocelyn's mission isn't just a family affair, it's a ticking time bomb that could redefine the town's future. Next, We will uncover the explosive financial scandal rocking Deception, the beloved cosmetics empire in Port Charles, as hidden records and shadowy investments tied to Sonny Corinthos threaten to bring the company crashing down. This isn't just a business crisis, it's a storm of betrayal, tough choices, and unexpected new beginnings for the fierce ladies at the heart of Deception: Lucy Coe, Maxie Jones, Brooklyn Quartermaine, and Tracy Quartermaine. Join us as we delve into the intricate web of financial discrepancies, legal battles, and personal reinventions that could forever alter the landscape of Port Charles' most glamorous enterprise. Buckle up for a deep dive into the chaos, the consequences, and the potential rebirths that lie ahead, unraveling Deception's financial quagmire. In the glittering world of Port Charles, where appearances are everything, Deception has long stood as a beacon of beauty and ambition. But beneath the flawless facades and perfectly curated product launches, a dark financial undercurrent has been brewing, threatening to drag the company into an abyss of ruin. Before her tragic passing, Natalia Ramirez, a sharp-eyed accountant with a knack for uncovering hidden truths, confided in Brooklyn Quartermaine about troubling irregularities in Deception's books. These weren't mere clerical errors or minor oversights. They were glaring red flags pointing to illicit investments inadvertently funneled into the company by none other than Sonny Corinthos, the town's most infamous mob kingpin. What started as an innocent partnership, perhaps a gesture of goodwill or a bid to legitimize his wealth, has spiraled into a ticking time bomb. The implications are staggering: potential fraud, tainted funds, and a public relations nightmare that could tarnish Deception's name beyond repair. As whispers of this scandal begin to circulate through the corporate corridors and cocktail parties of Port Charles, the women of Deception find themselves teetering on the edge of a disaster that could erase years of hard work and innovation in the blink of an eye. Natalia's hidden records surface. The situation takes a dramatic turn for the worse when a vengeful figure from the past emerges to fan the flames of this financial inferno. Marco Rios, a determined young man driven by a thirst for justice over his mother Natalia's untimely death, stumbles upon the meticulously kept records she left behind. These documents, hidden in a dusty safe deposit box at a local bank and encrypted with a code only Marco knew how to crack, lay bare the extent of Sonny's tainted investments in Deception. Marco's mission isn't just personal, it's a crusade to expose Sonny as the architect of his mother's murder and to dismantle every facet of his influence, starting with this corporate bombshell. When these records are leaked to the press during a dramatic confrontation at a public town hall meeting, the fallout is immediate and catastrophic. Deception's stock plummets overnight, loyal investors pull out in droves, and the company's once pristine reputation is smeared across every tabloid from Port Charles to New York. For Lucy, Maxie, Brooklyn, and Tracy, the revelation is akin to a punch to the gut. They're not just facing financial ruin, they're staring down the barrel of legal scrutiny, public shame, and the very real possibility that their beloved brainchild might not survive the storm. The heart-wrenching decision to dissolve Deception. With the weight of Natalia's records crushing their hopes, the Deception team gathers in a somber boardroom meeting at the Quartermaine mansion to face an unthinkable reality. Tracy Quartermaine, ever the pragmatic businesswoman with a steel spine forged by decades of corporate warfare, delivers the grim verdict after consulting with a team of high-powered attorneys flown in from Boston. Her voice steady but laced with regret, she informs Lucy, Maxie, and Brooklyn that the only viable path forward is to dissolve Deception entirely. This drastic measure, she argues, is their best shot at salvaging their personal reputations and avoiding the long arm of the law. Lucy, the eternal optimist whose passion for Deception borders on obsession, pushes back with fiery determination, pacing the room as she insists there must be a loophole, a creative marketing campaign, or a secret benefactor who can pull them out of this mire. Maxie and Brooklyn, though equally devastated, grapple with the bitter pill of Tracy's logic, Maxie wringing her hands as she thinks of her children's future, and Brooklyn staring out the window at the lush Quartermaine gardens, wondering how her dreams slipped through her fingers. The decision, though agonizing, begins to feel inevitable. Dissolving the company would mean cutting ties with a legacy they've poured their hearts into, but it might also shield them from charges of fraud or complicity in Sonny's shady dealings. The room falls silent as they each confront the end of an era. They are thick with unspoken grief for what they're about to lose. A deal with the devil, cooperation with the Tao. As the dust settles on their decision to disband, a new player enters the fray, offering a lifeline with strings attached. Acting District Attorney Justine Turner, a formidable prosecutor with a reputation for unrelenting pursuit of justice, summons the Deception ladies to her stark, no-nonsense office overlooking the Port Charles courthouse. With a piercing gaze and a file of damning evidence stacked on her desk, Turner lays out a deal that's both a salvation and a shackle. No criminal charges will be filed against them for their unwitting role in Sonny's financial schemes, but in exchange, they must provide full cooperation in her sprawling investigation into his empire. This means turning over every email, invoice, and whispered conversation related to Deception's dealings with Sonya, an act that feels like betrayal to some, and pragmatic survival to others. Lucy hesitates, her loyalty to old alliances warring with her instinct to save herself. Maxie bites her lip, knowing this could paint a target on her family's back, and Brooklyn clenches her fists, torn between duty and dread. Tracy, however, doesn't flinch, her years at ELQ having taught her that sometimes cutting losses means cutting ties with sentimentality. Reluctantly, they agree to Turner's terms, handing over the keys to a treasure trove of information that could finally nail Sonny to the wall. For Justine, this is the break she's been waiting for, a chance to build an airtight case against Port Charles' untouchable mob boss and bring him to justice for crimes spanning decades. Sonny under the legal microscope. With the Deception team's cooperation secured, the spotlight shifts to Sonny Corinthos, whose empire now faces an unprecedented threat from within Port Charles' legal system. Justine Turner, armed with the meticulously detailed financial records provided by Lucy, Maxie, Brooklyn, and Tracy, begins to construct a case that could finally topple the mob titan. The blood money invested in Deception isn't just a footnote in this investigation, it's the cornerstone of a broader probe into money laundering, racketeering, and illicit dealings that stretch from the docks of Port Charles to shadowy offshore accounts in the Caribbean. Rumors swirl that Turner has enlisted forensic accountants and federal agents, setting up a war room in a nondescript building near the police station to comb through every transaction linked to Sonny's name. Meanwhile, Sonny, holed up in his penthouse with only a decanter of whiskey for company, begins to sense the walls closing in. Whispers from his network of informants hint at betrayal, and a late-night visit from a nervous associate reveals that the DA's office has been asking pointed questions about Deception. As the net tightens, the question on everyone's lips in Port Charles is whether Sonny can wriggle out of this legal noose, or if this scandal will be the one that finally brings him down, charged not just for bad investments but for a lifetime of sins. New beginnings amid the ruins. With Deception officially dissolved, the women who once poured their souls into its success are forced to pivot, each carving out a new path from the ashes of their shared dream. Tracy Quartermaine, ever the phoenix of the business world, shifts her focus back to ELQ, the Quartermaine family conglomerate, where she begins orchestrating a hostile takeover of a rival tech firm to expand their portfolio. Her mind already buzzing with plans for new ventures, she sketches out ideas for a luxury lifestyle brand during late-night strategy sessions in her study. Lucy Coe, meanwhile, doubles down on her real estate empire, snapping up distressed properties along the Port Charles waterfront with an eye toward transforming them into upscale condos, a move that sparks rumors of a secret investor backing her bold plays. Maxie Jones, grappling with the emotional toll of Deception's collapse, receives an unexpected lifeline, a job offer from a prestigious European fashion magazine to serve as their creative director in Paris. With actress Kirsten Storms taking a temporary break from the role, this storyline could see Maxie packing her bags for a months-long stint abroad, leaving her family teary-eyed at the airport as she embarks on a glamorous new chapter. Brooklyn Quartermaine, still stinging from the loss of Deception, finds solace in her first love of music. She reconnects with Joe Palmieri over a nostalgic jam session at a local open mic night, mending past misunderstandings and eventually stepping into the role of his manager as his star begins to rise in the indie music scene. Their partnership, born from shared heartbreak, could be the start of a creative renaissance for Brooklyn, complete with late-night studio sessions and dreams of a national tour.